Hamburg, November 1995. With the missing persons complaint, German authorities are searching for the president of Scientology in Germany. In May 1995, 51-year-old Wiebke H. was suddenly relieved of her post. The investigative authorities in Germany believe she was placed in a Scientology prison camp in California. The Scientology organization asserts that the missing woman is dedicating herself to spiritual advancement. I called up the Scientologists and said, "Where is my sister? I read here in the newspaper that she is missing." I knew enough people there, and so I called them up. At first they gave me a little bit of the runaround, then I told them, "Out with it, give me the number, otherwise I'll raise a scene here." That is what I did, and as a matter of fact, Wiebke called back 2 days later. And after she heard that there was a missing persons complaint out on her, she went to the consulate in Los Angeles, and that killed the matter. The police never came back here because she's not missing. According to the way we gauge things, she's under certain conditions at certain places, since I would probably not go there. So when Wiebke doesn't want to do something, then nobody in the world can get her to do it. So she would have left this camp too, and she would also have been in the position here in Hamburg as well as in LA to find a way out. For example, if she didn't have anything to wear, and that if the things she needed for survival were not there, then she wouldn't be going along with them. She would have become very, very furious if something happened which she didn't want. That's the way she's been her whole life. That's also why she was so successful with the Scientologists, because she wants or wanted exactly that.
So ist sie ihr ganzes Leben lang gewesen, deswegen war sie bei den Scientologen auch so erfolgreich, weil sie das genau will oder wollte.
For 10 years, Wiebke H. was the most successful Scientology manager worldwide. Scientology sees itself as the truest religion on earth. Its presumably positive goal is to use its ideology to create a better world. Income in the millions flowed year after year from her organization in Hamburg to the Scientology headquarters in California. When her sales took a turn for the worse, she was removed as president.
Sie hatte, das war ganz witzig, einen Sekretär.
That was quite funny, a male secretary. She was certainly not a highbrow, but she said, "Since I'm a woman, I want a male secretary." I still think that's funny. He was a nice guy. In principle, Wiebke ran the whole organization. That means she was the one who asked, what's happening here, what's happening with the courses, how are acquisitions made, how is the inner organization. Later Scientology said that she had lied. I don't believe that. I simply do not believe that.
Das glaube ich nicht. Das glaube ich schlichtweg nicht.
Change of location. December 5th, 1998. Clearwater, Florida, the Mecca of Scientology. In past years, 9 Scientologists have died here under mysterious circumstances. Among them, 36-year-old Lisa McPherson. Charges have been brought against Scientology in her gruesome death. On the 3rd anniversary of her death, relatives of the victim and former Scientologists gathered. We have scheduled a meeting with the former members. Among them, they have years of experience in the Scientology prison camps, such as where Wiebke H. is said to have spent some time. One of them is Jerry Armstrong. He was coordinator in the Scientology Intelligence Service and a confidant of Hubbard, the organization's founder. But even he fell from grace. He spent 2.5 years in the camps.
I was the founding father of the Clearwater RPF.
The first prisoner?
I was the first prisoner.
The first prisoner?
And people really are prisoners. Scientology will say that people go voluntary. Absolutely not. To me, it was completely, I was so devastated I couldn't eat for the first 36 hours. It was as if my whole life had been stripped from me, because I knew, having been on the ship with Hubbard, I knew what the RPF meant.
He received this in writing, as shown by this document. Hubbard had charged him with 3 offenses: disobeying an order, neglect of duty, and poor work performance. Scientology has its own panel system with prosecutors, judges, and the accompanying prison camps. Of course, Scientology does not call them prison camps. They call it the Rehabilitation Project Force, RPF for short. These camps in the USA and Europe are run exclusively for people who don't fit into the elitist Sea Org. Hubbard determined the personal restrictions and penalties for them by 1974. The prison laborers are re-educated and made tractable by hard labor, compulsory hypnosis and brainwashing. All according to the slogan, "The RPF is what we make it. The RPF is where we make it." Scientology sells the RPF to its thousands of Sea Org members as their last chance to stay in the elite unit. By order, the camp inmates have no liberties, they are isolated and may not speak to anybody. Jesse Prince, formerly the second-ranking man in the Scientology management team, even he was put away in the notorious Happy Valley prison camp for refusal to obey orders. That is also where Whip Cage is presumed to be.
It was horrible. In Happy Valley, where I left, when I first went there, I literally slept on a wooden floor with rattlesnakes, scorpions, black widows, you name it, running rampant in a shack.
That is Stacy Brooks. She was a member of management of the Scientology Secret Service, and "I was a puppet for over 15 years, she said.
You know, you really honestly believe, when you're a Scientologist, that it is the only route to happiness. And that if you leave it, you have no hope of ever being happy. I mean, you honestly believe that when you're in there. And I don't know how they're able to accomplish that belief. All I can do is describe it. You know, Vaughn agreed to go back to the RPF because he truly believed that it was very important for him to continue to be a Scientologist. This was the only way that they would allow him to continue to be a Scientologist. And so, you know, people submit to the most degrading, abusive, terrifying experiences that you can imagine for the sake of this elusive and delusional idea.
The prison camps are there, but you don't see them. A splendidly renovated hotel in Clearwater, here is Fort Harrison, with every sort of comfort for its guests. In Los Angeles, a former hospital done over completely in blue. Near there or under there in garages or in basements are the reformatories for the misfits. Outside of the big cities, on the edge of the desert, 2 hours drive from Los Angeles, is Happy Valley, the prison camp for the elite.
The reason is to further his control and domination of Scientologists and Sea Org members. Scientology exerts incredible control over its people, right from the beginning. As soon as you enter the door of Scientology, they seek to control more and more and more of your life. And the RPF is like the ultimate control, because you are completely dominated by the organization and by the RPF rules. They're incredibly restrictive. You had no newspapers, no magazines, no radio, really no contact. You were not allowed to speak to anyone else unless spoken to. You ate after the rest of the crew, and you ate whatever was left after the rest of the crew was fed. You had to run everywhere, including running on this ship.
Clearwater, Florida, in August 1998. We succeeded for the first time in filming a group of Scientology's RPF prison camp laborers. They were renovating the Scientology-operated Fort Harrison Hotel. Even old women are exploited for this work, where it is 110 degrees in the shade. Their daily wage, $1.20. Change of location at the center in Copenhagen, another hotel. This time it's the Scientology Nordland Hotel, again with an integrated prison camp. Who would be surprised that they don't want us here? We have made an appointment with the Danish woman Susanne Schernekau. Almost 2 years of her life was spent here behind this facade. The organization's buildings are all over Copenhagen. All are being renovated in order to bring Scientology's customers in at a fast pace. There is much work that needs to be done. As was the case with BPH, Susanne was also accused of financial manipulation. My offense, according to Scientology, was financial fraud, and that I had behaved very badly. For example, in Munich, I had gone with a normal person to eat. Because I was married, that was not okay. By November 13, 1989, she had gone too far. She was assigned to the RPF in Copenhagen, as this document shows. Ethics, morals in Scientology. An offense is severely punished. Scientology's ethics are synonymous with total obedience, suppression and forced re-education. That is where people end up who make mistakes. Forced laborers are produced according to need, sometimes more, sometimes less. For instance, in Copenhagen there was a building which was a total wreck, and we cleaned it from top to bottom, cleaned all the pigeons off the window ledges, rats and mice and so forth. We began to paint, carpet, renovate, everything.
Malen, tapezieren, renovieren, alles.
We were always the last to eat. Only breakfast was really okay. Other than that, the food was very bad. The beds were very bad. We slept 12 people to a room. The solidarity of the group is emphasized, especially in the elite C organization, Sea Org for short. Created by Hobbit, it is the heartbeat of Scientology, his private army. They want world domination, and that needs an army, and into this one come only the best. Immortality, power, consensus, and invincibility. Rattling sabers, and then the fall. Unexpected and final. You live with the conviction that you already have everything under control, and when that does not happen, you realize that you do not have everything under control. And somehow the whole idea that you were part of an elite group plunges headlong into the ground. You begin the RPF with a black armband. Then, if your ethics go well, you get a white armband. The difference is, with a black armband and as a married person in the Sea Org, you may not see your husband. You may not speak to him if he does not speak with you. With the white armband, you may spend 3 hours per week together with your second dynamic. That means your family, your husband, and possibly children. You may still not speak with your husband unless he speaks to you. Then you get more. That means that you can earn a gold armband.
Dann kannst du noch mehr werden. Das heißt,
with a gold armband, you may spend 1 night a week with your family.
Und mit einem goldenen Armband darfst du eine Nacht pro Woche bei deiner Familie übernachten.
You can picture the structure of the RPF as Susanne drew it up in the camp and learned by heart. Chief of the group, but a co-prisoner at the same time as the bosun. Under him is the Esto, responsible for the assignment of work, and the MAA, who is responsible for keeping the rules of the camp. Under that is the tech, responsible for the material and the equipment. Qual supervises the performance of the work. The rank and file form the individual sections A, B and C. Work groups have up to 10 people. These are assigned to the actual renovation work, as is the case here in Clearwater. The control of each other is omnipresent and perfect. None can escape it.